Good Friday, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. I am Vicki Edmondson, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. If you do not have a demonstrator that you currently work with, I would be honored to have your business. If you need to place an order for anything you see me do here today, I have a host code here for May. If you would use that host code when you do place an online order in my store, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, today I'm going to make, several people have asked me to video how to make a book fold card. I made this card several weeks ago for a class that my granddaughter and I did together. She is 13 years old, and we did a class. She did 2 cards, and I did 2. This was one of the ones that I did, and the ladies in the class really liked it. It's called a book fold. It only opens up this wide, and then this bit of margin is glued down, so it opens like a book. Also on this, I used one of the retiring dies, and it came from the Stitched Be Mine. That was this die that has retired. A lot of you may have that, you may not. If you do not have it, I'm going to show you how to create this border using this Stitch So Sweetly die. And we're going to be using 2 more dies from the Stitch So Sweetly. That'll be for our sentiment layer. And we're also going to be using these dies from the Pansy dies. From the Pansy dies. We're going to be using that. And we're going to use this sentiment right here from the Pansy Patch stamp set. This is a really cool stamp set, and if you guys don't have it, you might want to think about getting it, because there's a lot of different ways you can use this, and the papers that you can use, I'll show you in a minute. We're going to use these dies to cut the flowers out. So we're going to recreate something like this, and this is how this will go. First of all, you're going to take an 11 by 4 1/4 inch piece of cardstock, and I am using the new polished pink. This is the ink that we'll be using for our sentiment, polished pink. This is the polished pink paper, cardstock, okay? So you're going to have the, like I said, the 11 by 4 1/4 scored at 5 1/2 and also scored at 6 1/2. So you're going to fold and burnish your edge here. You're going to fold this back and burnish that edge well, okay? Now, before you glue that down, you're going to use some crinkle binding ribbon that is in the new catalog. It carried over, which I'm very thankful for. You will take this and just keep it flat and even, and we're going to tie just a little knot in this. If you want to tie a bow, you could tie a bow, but I'm just going to tie a knot. I don't do very well tying bows. I have to do it over and over and over again unless I use my bow jig. If I use my bow jig, I don't have a problem, okay? So we're going to tie that in a little knot, and we're going to trim off the edges. Like so. Cut that one a little bit short, so let me trim this one a little bit more, okay? All right, and it's all smooth and even here. And you can adjust this if you want this to be, your knot to be closer to the top, in the center, wherever you want it to be, you can move that. Now we're going to take our multi-purpose glue, and we will put some glue here. I'll put a little bit on the ribbon, and we're just going to fold that down and hold it until it sets in place. Now, if this ribbon is moving around like this and you don't like that, you can take a mini glue dot and roll it up with your fingernail And you can then place this right underneath that knot and then press that down. Then that will stay in place and that won't move again, okay? Now you're going to need 2 pieces of basic white that are 4 1/4 by 4. 2 pieces, one for the inside and one for the outside. I've already done the inside one, and I've taken one of the small pansies that are in the paper and glued that here on the end of the card. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the inside. That still gives you plenty of room to write your message or whatever you want on the inside, or if you want to stamp another sentiment on the inside, you've got plenty of room to do that. Okay, so we will take this now and just center that inside there. Okay, so the inside's done. All right, next we're going to take the other white piece that we had, and I ran this through the 3D textile folder. Hang on a minute, let me get that. It's the Tasteful Textiles 3D embossing folder. You run this through this embossing folder to get this subtle image on your cardstock here. And we're just going to take this and go ahead and glue that down. Okay, then we're going to put this here like that. Okay, now we're going to take this piece is 1 by 4, and I ran that through the 3D floral, the ornate floral 3D embossing folder. I ran that through, and that's Highland Heather cardstock, and cut that the 1 by 4, and then put it in here, run it through your cut and emboss machine, and it comes out this way. Okay, now to make, I said the other one that I showed you, we used this, but that has retired. So to make this border here, I took this die in the Stitch So Sweetly, ran it through my die cut machine, and you come out with this. Okay, now this is exactly the right size you need. So I took my trimmer and I cut just a little bit off, maybe let's see, it came down about this much to the second scallop. Cut it across here, turn this, did the same thing here about at the second scallop, cut it straight across, and then you're going to glue that to your ornate embossed piece. So the back of it looks like this, and the front of it looks like this. So that's another way to get that scallop border with an item that is currently available to purchase. Okay, then we will take this, and if you do have a little bit hanging off the edge, just take your snips and snip that pink off that might be showing from the scallop edges. Okay, so then we're going to take this and glue it onto our card front here with our multi-purpose glue. Okay, and just kind of eyeball it, and you're going to have a little border here and a little border here, so some of the white is going to be showing, and maybe come up, I don't know, 1/2 inch or so, wherever you'd like to place it. It doesn't really matter where you place it. Okay, now let me get the paper. This is the Pansy paper, this is one full sheet of 12 by 12, and this die will cut out the larger pansies, and the small die will cut out the smaller pansies. And you also have 2 leaves. Two 12 by 12 sheets of paper that have the leaves in it. You have a different shades and different shapes, but you have 2 of the dies that will cut out these leaves, and this one will cut out a longer leaf. So that's what I've done. I've just taken, cut around it, or you could cut a piece wide enough that would fit in your emboss and cut machine, or just cut around it like I did and place them down. And you could use a mini boss, is what I used actually, to cut these out. So you're going to cut you some leaves and the flowers from the paper. And when you do that, you come up with this. I'm going to use a pink one and a purple one, and then I'm going to use these leaves here. And we're going to make a flower. Okay, I think I'll put the sentiment on last. So let's use the pink one, I think. So I'm going to put the pink one down first. And I think I'm going to use the darker leaves with the pink one, I think. Let's see. I think I'll use a lighter one, the lighter leaves with it. Okay, so we can take our glue again and put just a dot on here, or you could use mini glue dots if you want to do that too. You could do it either way. That, and then this one. And this one was on the edge of the paper, but I cut it out anyway because the majority of the leaf was showing and usable. But that doesn't matter if that's like that, because you're going to cover it up anyway with a flower. So don't waste those leaves that you think aren't usable at the edge of the paper, because they definitely are usable. Okay? Do that. And let's go ahead and put these leaves, I can pick it up, on this pansy. I think I'm going to put one here. About like that. Let's see how I'm going to kind of lay it out. This one's going to be glued down, but this one is going to be popped up. I think I'll put it right there. Right about right there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and glue this one down. And when I'm using my multi-purpose glue, of course I keep it open, and I have an old medicine bottle that I keep mine in. Stand it upside down and keep it in there so the flow is ready to go when I'm ready to use it. Okay, we're going to put that about right there. Then we're going to use some, hold that glue down, hold that flower until that glue adheres. And then we're going to pop this one up. So we're going to use some dimensionals and pop that one up to give it some dimension. Okay. And just take the backing off of these. Okay. And then I think I want to, let's see, this is going to be the back of my sentiment layer, so I need to make sure I leave room for that. So I think I'm going to pop that up right about there. Okay. Then we used I used the dies, the two small dies here from the Stitch So Sweetly. This one with the polished pink, and then this out of the white. And I used the thank you again from the Pansy Patch stamp set and stamped this in polished pink. Now what I'm going to do is just glue this to our layer here. When I get done, I'll show you another book fold card that I had made with some retiring product. But just to show you how a little bit different variety of what you can do. Now you can either pop this up or glue it down. I think in this case I'm going to just glue this one down. I'll show you the other one again in a minute, and I'll pop that up. But it's whatever your preference is, whatever you prefer. And you could put any sentiment over here. You've got room that you could use a different design here, a different die to cut it out, or you could stamp your sentiment on just your basic white paper and use your snips to trim around it and cut it out. All right, so there you go. It's quick, simple book fold card is what it's called. You also could turn it this way if you wanted and orient your design and everything going vertical instead of horizontal. Let's see, I think I'm going to put some of the pastel pearls on here. Let's see where I want to put them. I'm going to use my putty end of my Take Your Pick tool. And like I said before, I'll take mine apart because it's easier for me to handle. But the putty end of your Take Your Pick tool, and I think I'm going to use this one. Well, if it would go where I want it to go. There we go. Okay, there's one. I think I'll put one there. And I think I'll put one more right over here. Okay? All right, now the card is complete with your pretty little embellishments. Okay, that's the one that we did today. This is the other one I did in the class that I taught. And then I did one more using a stamp set that had retired, and I used different ribbon. This ribbon is also in the new catalog. It's very easy to tie, and I didn't put anything on the inside of this one yet. Didn't know quite who I might want to send it to, so I didn't put anything in there. But this is a cute set too. You could do the same sort of thing with that. So there's 3 different designs using the same book fold, and you can use any paper, anything you want. If you didn't want to use white here, you could use some DSP and run it through one of the embossing folders to give it a little bit more texture. Just whatever you feel like you want to do. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. Again, if you do not have a demonstrator, I'd be happy to help you and send you a catalog. All the measurements and description of the items that I use will be in the below this video. You can just click on an item if you want to purchase, and it'll take you right to my store. And again, if you wouldn't mind using this host code that I have for May, I'd appreciate it very much. And I thank you, and I hope everyone has a great weekend, and until next time, goodbye.